We're gonna set up a little documentary, hoping that we can get your help here to try help save our village. A village that was once built by people that actually believed in this village and spent a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of love building what we have here. And throughout the years, we've seen it decay, just like many other small villages. As a newly elected mayor, I'd like to do what I can to help give back to my community. I had many people reach out to me to let me know about this. Throughout the day here, we're going to go around and show you some of the buildings, the ones that are in the roughest shape that could really use some help. And you know, hopefully we can get you from HGTV, Aaron and Ben, to come out here and help us out. Here we are standing in front of the old stage house. It was built around 1849 as being one of our most prominent buildings and one of the oldest buildings we have in the village.
Almost everyone in the village and their relatives or their grandparents has a story about being at the stage house. It was where the whole community gathered.
We're really hoping to save it. Many people have gone to here to eat, had many good times in here, stood for well over 150 years. I think it can stand for well over 150 more. Here we are in the back of the Williams Opera House.
The Opera House was built about 1879 after a fire had wiped out the entire west side of the street. It went on to become one of the major focal points in the village. It brought culture to town from the major cities. It had performances. It was used by the fraternal organizations. It's been empty for the last few years.
Beginning of the year, we had some sustainable winds that traveled through the village here, and what it did was blew in a big part of the back of the structure. As one of the most prominent structures and one of the tallest structures we have here in the village, we'd really like to see this saved. Here we are in front of the Erie Railroad Depot, one of the oldest structures we have, and probably one of the best reasons why we have Attica. It's all from railroading.
Late 1830s, 1840s, when rail was first coming through Western New York, a bunch of enterprising men from the village were able to secure the rail line to pass through, which really brought the wealth to Attica.
We wouldn't have what we have here if it wasn't for the railroading. So this is our Tonawanda Creek. It's also been known as the Mighty Tonawanda. A wonderful creek to have. It's helped some of the businesses that we don't have anymore in the village here, but there was once mills that ran lumber companies and things of that nature, grain mills and stuff in our village that have now gone to the wayside. It's also been kind of a thorn in the side at points. We've had plenty of damage throughout the years with flooding.
Hi, I'm Ryan Lavarnway. I'm the owner and operator of Attica Pharmacy here in the village of Attica. About 4 years ago, I started to renovate this building. We kind of brought it back to its original glory.
My name's Kirk McWhorter. I've been a lifelong resident here in Attica, New York. My family grew up here, my mom and my dad. I actually inherited the house that my grandparents grew up in. And I've been here my whole life, and I'm not planning on going anywhere.
And I've been a resident of Attica for the last couple of years. I work at the grocery store. I'm also a crossing guard.
I'm Hans Walker. I'm deputy mayor here in the village of Attica, and I've been here as a resident of the village for 50-some years.
It's a great town. I wish it were what it was back when I was growing up, back in the 70s, back in the late 60s and early 70s. Great place to go, great sense of community.
It's a great community. Very loving, very supportive. Just, you couldn't ask for nicer people. When you need them, they're there for you. We all support each other and look out for one another, and it's a lovely location. The buildings are very old, very historic.
Tons of history. A lot of it's been sort of untouched for just years, and I think there's a lot of potential to expand.
The people in our town care so much about what's here. There's just limited chances to do anything to change it. We have a history, we have architecture, we have a small town atmosphere.
It's a nice community. I've been here, like I say, for 50-some years. I graduated from high school here in 1960, And my wife and I had both been here. She lived here for her whole life.
It's a great town. If you look at some of the photos of what this place was like back at the turn of the century, it's unbelievable. It was such an amazing place, and still is such an amazing place. Just needs a little bit of help.
This was our tour of the village of Attica, New York. As you can see, a lot of the buildings have deteriorated, just like they have in many other villages and towns throughout the nation. But what sets ours aside is the history behind all the stuff. You know, people once didn't have to go to the mall or didn't have to, you know, use the Amazon or internet and stuff. They would come down here and they would buy jeans, or we had candy stores, we had taverns, you know, places that closed down, but yet at one point people actually believed in this village enough to bring their business here, to start their families here. You know, a village that I believe that can happen again. The community that we have here, it's, in my opinion, second to none, and I think it can be rebuilt. And with your help, we would love for you to choose our village. We certainly would appreciate any help, and we would hope you would consider our village here, and we welcome you to come and take a look to see what we have and what we have to offer. Hope that you could help us out. So HGTV, we hope to have you here. Thank you very much.